right, we are live. Hello, everyone. I am so excited to be here today and have our first guest, Niani Tolbert, who is
Yeah.
here to talk about Hire Black Initiative. So, welcome, Niani. Thank you so much for in accepting my invitation to chat today.
Yes. Thank you for having me. It's so funny that you reached out to me because in the first week of Hire Black, I looked at your different courses that you had. I did review the unconscious bias course, so that was very exciting. When you reached out to me, I already knew who you were.
Yeah, that's really cool. And actually, I found you. I mean, I think that's the thing about that I love about LinkedIn, right? Is that you can reach out to anyone. And so Vicky Pinchon actually broadcasted something about you. I don't even remember what it was, but she posted. And so she is a prolific negotiator, and she actually does a lot of really kind of cool stuff. And I'll actually talk about her a little bit. I hope she doesn't mind because it kind of talks a little bit about this Hire Black initiative. Like I talked to her a couple of weeks ago about the idea. She was saying that she wanted to offer free negotiation workshops to women of color, really actually to Black women. And we didn't really talk about how she was going to do it, and the way she did it wasn't necessarily the best, but her intention was good, right? And so when I saw her post about you, I said, "Oh, we need to connect because what you're doing is something that I have wanted to do for a really long time." And so I'm so excited that you're doing it because I'm like, "Oh, good, cross that off my list. I don't have to do it."
Yeah, thank you for having me. And so to introduce myself, my name is Niani, and I am, I guess, the founder of the Hire Black Initiative. This initiative started off with an idea. I am a recruiter, a technical recruiter by day. And so this initiative started off with just the idea of helping 19 Black women get resume review sessions from my network on Juneteenth. So I thought to myself, hey, if I do 2 sessions in 1 hour, and if I just get 9 more people to join me, then I'll be able to help 19 women. But I just rounded it off to 20 because I was just like, might as well go to 20. I posted it on LinkedIn, and over 300 recruiters contacted me, recruiters, hiring managers within a few days. And I opened the application, and over 500 Black women applied within 48 hours. So I had to stop. I was just like, wait, this is huge. I am furloughed, so I have a lot of time on my hands, and I had to restructure and rethink how can we help? How can I help all these women that want to be helped, and how can I connect all these allies who want to volunteer?
Yeah, no, that's so great. And so I just posted the link, hireblacknow.com. So if you want to check it out. Now, is it only, so tell me, is it only for people who are in a specific industry, or so what's the thought process there?
Yeah, so it's for every so as long as you identify as a Black woman, we're here. So it's for all industries. I think all industries can benefit from more Black female talent and Black talent in general. What is great about the network and great about the allyship and the support that we've gotten so far is that we have recruiters that are from the tech industry, from the entertainment industry, media. So the fact that we have so many different allies and volunteers, that means that we can tap into different industries. And the way that we have originally matched people one-on-one was not only based on the industry that they're interested in or are pivoting to, but also the experience that they have. So if someone is a VP of engineering, we're going to partner them with someone who has some type of management experience, maybe mid-level management, so that we are not only thinking about how can we hire laterally, but how can we give people higher paying jobs and more management experience?
That is wonderful because I think right now, there is this dichotomy, right? There are people who are like yourself, who are furloughed, right? But then here you are helping others to get hired. And so I think that that's really the interesting place that we find ourselves in, where on the one hand, we are sort of, you find people that are really struggling to get that next opportunity, and then you have others that are thriving. And so I think being able to showcase something like this is something that we can use moving forward, not just during COVID, right? Not just during time of social change, but in general. And so I'm really excited about what you're doing because it's a really important feature. And I think, having a recruiting background myself, I've talked about how we see, right, the disparities and the differences between what it takes to get a Black woman hired and what it takes to get a white woman hired. And it is kind of disheartening to see that. And so I think that the hope that comes out of this is that right now, so many people are really looking at it. And I think not just superficially, but really taking a hard look at their processes and saying, wow, what can we change? Where have we faltered? What's happening in this process that is making this occur? And part of what we talk about is the idea that when we look at companies, I think so many companies have spent a lot of time focusing on, individual bad actors, right? If you look at, and we use, let's say, the Me Too movement as an example, when these companies have seen that there is huge, harassment happening within an organization, they've said, oh, well, that one person did it. Let's get rid of them. We fired them. And so we're done. But that's not just the problem, right? Like that's a symptom of the problem. The problem is the system that allowed this person to operate undetected and unreported for so long, right? And so most of those companies have not dismantled those systems. People are still running rampant in those organizations. They fired the one or two bad actors, but they have not really looked at their systems. And so I think right now, where we have the ability and the opportunity is for companies to look at our systems that are preventing people from being hired and from advancing throughout the organization. And so what, especially just from your recruiting background, what are you seeing in terms of change right now in that direction?
Yeah. And so I definitely want to just like echo what you said. I think when it comes to Hire Black, right now we're doing a lot of matching because, let's face it, there's a lot of systemic oppression that Black women already face. So how can we make these resumes stand out so much that people would want to see, regardless of whatever unconscious bias that people may have, then people may not even realize. So deeper than that, I would love to tackle the system. And I have a few things, just a few points that I feel like recruiters and hiring managers can implement right now without getting, without giving approval from their managers. So here are just a few things. And so I think that having one D&I dedicated person for behavioral interviews would be something that anyone or any company can do immediately. Thinking about the recruiting process, of course, not only making sure that the people who are interviewing are trained, have an idea or sit through a session on how to recruit for people. But when it comes to the behavioral interview questions, let's think about having a D&I dedicated person, or maybe a cultural dedicated person that always focuses on, rather than is this a cultural fit, how is this a person a cultural add? What I'm seeing a lot, and just in corporations in general, is that you may have some diversity when it comes to the overall company, but a lot of teams look the same and a lot of teams think the same. So if you have marketing teams that all look the same, and you have engineering teams that all look the same, and you have people who are stakeholder facing that are all look the same, that's not necessarily a diversity of opinion. That's more so segregation. And this is something that it sounds wild, but that's how I believe it. If you have teams that are all kind of making decisions, and then all teams that are following the decisions, or just in general, you don't really have a diversity of opinion. So therefore, you're missing out on a lot of opportunity for each team to excel. So I think that is eliminating the question in general, is this person a cultural fit? And instead, what value can this person bring that we don't already have to the team, is very, very important, and something that you can immediately implement. I think that having blind resumes in general, is good. And so this is not only thinking about Black women, this is thinking about, so I have some friends named Samantha. They go by Sam on their resume. They go by Sam on their email. So that's just known. Like, it's known that, like, when it comes to your name, it does get affected. You do get treated a different way. And a lot of Black women have names that sound like they're a Black woman, but not only does it reveal their gender and reveal their race or nationality, but it can also have assumptions on this socioeconomic class that they're coming from. And when you're assuming the socioeconomic class, then you're assuming how professional someone could be. So I think that having blind resumes is something that is so essential, because we're focusing on what we need to see rather than even in that split second focusing on what that person can look like or what that person may act like.
Right. And I'll say, before you get to your next point, that with the blind resumes, it's a tool, right? It's a part of the process. So I think that sometimes people hear blind resumes and they think, oh, well, we'll do blind resumes, and then, and then we hire directly off of that. And it's like, no, because at the end of the day, I'm going to be real. I want you to see me. I want you to know you are hiring a Black woman, right? I don't want to have to sneak in behind a blind resume, but I do want my skills to be shown. So I think that using the blind resume as a first step is helpful to cull, right? And to be able to get people to shine through, because then they'll see, like, wow, this is somebody that we might not have even got into the process had we not done that. And then after that, you're going to have your face-to-face interviews and things like that. But I do think that, sometimes I see that companies are trying to make the process so blind as to remove, any traces of a person. And I don't want to have people get set up to go into an organization where who they are as a person is not going to be accepted, right? So that's where what we do at Reward Workers, we're talking about the belonging and all of that, because once you get there, that's a whole other conversation, right? It's like, do you want to stay? Because it's like, great, I got in the door. And I think the other piece about the resumes is, I just saw this the other day. We have so many senior leader DEI positions, right, that are open. And I've had some people send me their resumes, and I looked at this one person's resume and I thought, oh my God, they are so qualified, like degree on degree on degree. And I said, this is crazy, because in so many instances, this person has more than enough degrees, skills, and qualification and experiences for 3 or 4 people. But yet, because she's a Black woman, it might not even be enough for the one position that she actually wants. And I was like, that is the travesty that we have to deal with in this country.
Yeah, and I agree. And especially when it comes to resumes and thinking about what your experience, or what the experience is kind of showing. I think that when we're talking about what is the cultural ad, or what is the ad that the person can bring to the table, we need to think about that down to the job description and down to what fill that we need. Right. So a lot of people, I think hiring managers and companies themselves think that they need something, but they may not even be aware of what they truly need, because they're kind of thinking of, hey, we need someone who can just do this. We need someone who could just fill this role, or kind of act as a robot. We just need someone who can, I guess, do this code. But when we're thinking about what do you need from a company, from a company perspective, what role needs to be hired, I think the job description needs to talk about what is the void that person can fill, rather than what can that person do.
Definitely. So sorry, go ahead and continue. I know you've got a couple more points.
Yeah. And I just was thinking, since LinkedIn now put their pronunciation on their profiles, I think having pronunciation during the interview process or during the first date can really be helpful, especially for, with people like myself. There's a lot of different ways that people can assume to say my name. But when it comes to pronunciation, there has been times at different offices or different places where, if one person says your name wrong, then the rest of the office is going to think that your name is said wrong, because if they, mention you in a meeting, everyone's going to start pronouncing your name that way. So I think that to feel included, I think having pronunciation within the recruiters, within maybe within the ATS system, or as within the welcome email, that could be a good just first one small step that we can do to think about inclusion and belonging in the workforce.
Right. I almost forgot to plug in my laptop. I always do that. And I think too, as you talk about names, right? This goes back to the idea that it is so important for people to have a little respect, right, for others. Treat people as you would want to be treated. And it's so frustrating even for me. My name is Stacey. It is not hard for you to spell my name right. The number of emails that I get from people that spell my name without an E, it's like, my name is everywhere. It would take you about 2.3 seconds to just double check and spell my name correctly. Now, I'm over it at this point. I'm like, I don't care. But what it says to me when I see that is that somebody doesn't actually care enough to make sure that they have spelled my name correctly, right? And so that translates to so many other areas. I think that when you look at people whose names do have a tough spelling or a pronunciation, like there are people who will have the audacity to say, well, I can't pronounce your name, so I'm just going to call you X, and just make up a name. Yes. It's like, how do you...
That's not okay. That's not okay. That's happened to me so many times.
Right. It's like, that is just, it's so not appropriate. And I think we're in a place now where we really have to, like, sometimes you're so shocked you don't even know what to say. But I think we're in this place finally where we can say, that is not okay. This is how you pronounce my name. Let me help you with that.
Yeah. And I definitely agree with you when it comes to just like the, simple pronouncing your name. That goes a long way because, like I said, it kind of trickles through the office if it's wrong. So, and I think that it's great that people are able to, I think this time kind of empowers people to say, to speak up. And it has been more of a shock in the past, to where it's, hey, I didn't speak up because I didn't feel comfortable. Right. So I think that right now it's just a great time to empower people to be themselves in the office. And that also includes, their hair. That includes their, hopefully we can get into accents, so that, right, we don't have to code switch all the time. But I love the direction that we're going in terms of becoming, being able to be Black in the workforce.
Right. Well, and you mentioned hair. I've talked about the Crown Act before on our Inclusionomics podcast. And I think that's another really important thing. I mean, look at both of us right now, right? Like 10 years ago would not have worn my hair like this.
Really?
I think I'm not encouraging anyone to Google me, so I shouldn't even say this, but there are probably pictures of me from way back with my hair straightened. I had my hair permed for the first, I think 20 years of my professional life. My hair was permed.
Wow. And here I am. I'm thinking that this is Zoom ready. I'm just like, that's incredible. I didn't have that experience, but even for me, I typically wear my hair in braids. If I'm like in the office, or if I'm going online, I do definitely stretch my curls out. You gotta like I feel like I have to stretch it. I feel like I have to, click it, blow dry it at the roots so that it can be, a little bit more tame. But like, why? Why do we feel like we have to do that? There are so many people who are out here, especially during a pandemic, especially during Zoom, on Zooms all day, that there are people who are growing their beard out. There are people who are having messy top buds. But I feel as though I have the need to, I need to spend 4 hours plus on my hair in order to be Zoom ready. I feel like if I have a protective style, I have to take the protective style out if I have Bantu knots because I don't feel comfortable. But that's something that I want to challenge, especially while we're working from home, making that normal, making that okay to wear protective styling, to wear your hair as it is, especially when you're home.
Right. No, if it's definitely something that I've talked about, when we say like, I think that's a perfect tip, right? For everyone that's listening. If you are a manager and you are setting up these Zoom calls, and you need to be asking like, and understanding that it is okay for individuals to come with their hair in a protective style, or to maybe not have makeup on. Now, I mean, the other part of that too, though, is we have to look at who are we talking to in this Zoom meeting? Because am I comfortable enough in my team maybe to come in that way? But if I'm doing a Zoom meeting with a new client, or with, a client facing or a customer or something like that, then would I want to position myself in the same way that I would if I were meeting them in person? So I do think there's also some of that we have to think through, because we wouldn't necessarily leave our house in yoga pants and no makeup and our hair in a messy bun, right? If we were going out and we were meeting that client in person. So I think that's kind of how I look at how I'm going to get dressed for the day. Like today I put on makeup because I thought, well, this is going to get recorded and it's going to get, it's going to have a shelf life of its own. So it probably makes sense to have a little makeup on, right? So I do think there's a little bit of that too, in terms of how we come correct. But I think that what we're talking about is the deeper conversation around being able to actually be yourself in your teams and with the people that you work with and with your coworkers.
Yeah. And especially when it comes to, I also just in general want to challenge like what is presentable. So I don't think, I think that stretching your hair isn't necessary for a client meeting. That if we've normalized that part, maybe not in a protective style, that's a Bantu knot, but I think that we do need to normalize being Black, normalize our hair, normalize our twists, normalize our afros. Because if we continue to not normalize them, then it will never be esteemed professional.
Right.
When it comes to like certain professional styles, that's like maybe not have your satin cap on, but definitely your twists, your flat twists, whatever that looks like.
Right. So now tell me, what does the future of this initiative look like for you?
Yeah, sorry. I think, here we go. Sorry, I think my roommates and have the fire alarm is going on. 1 second, sorry.
No worries. So while she's dealing with the fire alarm, I will just remind you guys, if you have not had a chance to check out the Unconscious Bias course yet, which is actually where Niani found me, then I will drop a link for that. And we would love for you to take a look at some of the courses that are there. I think one of the things too that Niani mentioned is that, what did she mention? Oh, that about advancing within the workplace, right? And I think that some people are trying to make a career change right now. And so one of the courses that's actually available is a Making a Career Change course through LinkedIn that I did. And so that is one that kind of helps walk people through that career change that they need to make.
Yeah, and sorry, I was just looking through. Give me 1 second. So is everything okay? Do you guys hear anything else?
Your house isn't on fire, is it?
No, I hope not, because I didn't get up to check, but it sounds like everything's fine. Someone's
okay.
So the future of Hire Black. So I what initially started off as just wanting to help 19 Black women get resume review sessions definitely has evolved into a big initiative that I felt I had to get a little bit wild when it came to or ambitious when it came to the goal. Right now, we want to help 10,000 Black women get trained, hired, and promoted. And what that looks like is, I think you mentioned it before, kind of having not only the Black women get trained, hired, and promoted, but also educating companies and allies and giving them resources to where they might have blind spots because they are not Black women. So definitely having some workshops, having conferences, having resources that are available through newsletters, different things that we can do for both allies or companies and for the Black women in our community to connect and to learn and to grow together. I think that those two tracks, of what I call it, are the different offerings that we're going to provide in the future. And you're the first person that I'm selling this to. And
I feel honored.
In September, we are going to have a Hire Black Summit. I couldn't say Hire Black Conference because that would be #HireBlackCon, and that's not exactly what we're doing. We're going to have a Hire Black Summit. And I would love to invite you, Stacey, to join. Like I said, we're going to have an ally track, and we're going to have a Black woman development track. So that is so exciting. We're talking to different people about becoming speakers. We want to amplify Black voices and also amplify allies as well. So I'm very excited to share that, and we'll see how that goes.
That's wonderful. Well, amplification is what we're all about. So everyone that's listening today, we encourage you to share. I will post a link to the video today. So feel free to just share it. Let others, see what we're talking about. And I'm going to also just post a link to my website at reworkwork.com. If you want to find more information about what we do, you can find me there. And again, I'm so excited to have you here today, Niani. This was a really great conversation. And I think one of the final things I do want to say, which I completely forgot to address, is just around the idea of why we're doing this in the first place. Because I know I'm going to get people saying, well, why are you excluding white people? Why are you excluding Asian people? What about, right? And I want to say that initiatives like this come out of exclusion in the first place. We don't start with something like Hire Black. We end up with Hire Black because that's what's left over, right?
Yeah.
We end up there because we have tried within the system and we see that there is racism, there is discrimination, there is bias, there are barriers, and we get tired. And so we create something like this to be able to help to elevate and hopefully be able to then integrate us back into the system that has kicked us out in the first place, right?
Exactly.
And so I just want to address that because I know I'm going to get so many comments about it.
Yeah, and one of the main things is that Black women make 62 cents on every dollar a white man makes. So this is a $1 million gap in a lifetime. And just knowing that, and also knowing that there are I can say it within the Slack, 30 or 90, more than 92% of the women in our community have a bachelor's degree and above. And 50% of the women are seeking employment. And understanding that this is a competitive market, understanding that there's this equal pay, understanding that these are people who are very qualified. I want to be able to connect people with jobs and also connect and kind of challenge what's going on currently in the workplace. So yeah, this initiative was made because of these discrepancies, because of the systemic oppression that we face. And this is trying to kind of get us to be seen as even, can be seen as worth the same dollar amount that a white man makes.
Right. Well, on that note, I just want to again thank you for joining me today. I really appreciate it. And we will be back again next Wednesday, which I think is the 22nd. And actually, I forgot to tell everyone it's my birthday today. So happy birthday to me. Yeah, I was like, regardless, I was like, we are doing this. I don't care.
Well, happy birthday, Stacey. Thank you so much for having me here. Thank you, everyone who's joined. I hope to continue to connect with you. And Stacey, like I said, that invite is out there, but we will reconnect offline.
Yes, for sure. Thank you to everyone that joined us. I love the fact that we get so many people from all around the world that join us. And so I appreciate every one of you that has joined. And like I said, if you could share it and have others see what we're talking about today, that would be wonderful. So thank you all. And thank you again, Niani.
All right, thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.